This is our Jamaican pork stew. So I see some sweet potatoes. That's the sweet with the sweet and savory.
Yeah.
Are there other elements to this dish that make it Jamaican particularly?
Yeah, we've got some spices in the flour, which I'll get into in a minute, but you've got that nice allspice and some cayenne and some thyme. So I think those are traditionally sort of Jamaican flavors. And then towards the end, we can talk about how we can spice it up a little bit
Make
too.
it super hot.
Exactly.
All right, here we go.
Okay, so we're going to start this dish off with some pork shoulder cubes, and you can see that they're nicely marbled. There's a little bit of fat running through them.
So is cut important for this dish?
Yes, absolutely. Sometimes they're also sold as pork braising cubes.
Okay.
And then if you can't find pork shoulder cubes or braising cubes, you can always buy a pork shoulder and cut the cubes yourself.
All right.
So we've made a flour mixture of the flour, the thyme, the allspice, and the cayenne. And you're going to dust your cubes, and then once you've kind of coated them, you just kind of shake off the excess of the flour as you're going along.
Now, since we're talking about flour, you know, Manitoba wheat, this is actually one of the most productive places in the entire world to grow wheat, and it's a combination of soil and climate and all kinds of things, but we grow a lot of wheat here. We're very proud of that.
Excellent. So we're going to dust our cubes, and then you would brown them in batches, because if you brown them all at the same time, you're going to end up boiling them. And then you don't get that nice browning happening.
Yeah.
You don't get those nice bits at the bottom of your stock pot either.
Yeah.
And that's all going to add flavor and color to your stew. So it's really important that you brown everything in batches. You're going to remove them all to a plate, and then towards the end, they're going to all go back in. So
you gotta be
that's
a little bit
it's a really
patient.
important step.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Fire them all in there at once.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then we're going to add in, of course, lots of onion.
Right?
Lots of fresh ginger.
There's lots of everything
and
in
lots
there.
of fresh garlic. There's
Yeah.
about 5 cloves of garlic in this.
So of course, peak at the market onions, delicious. We put them in pretty much everything around here.
And these are, you know, classic Jamaican, I guess, ingredients as
Yeah.
well, especially the ginger,
Ginger.
and the garlic. So you would saute this for about 2 minutes. And as the moisture starts coming out of the onion, it's going to help loosen up a little bit of that
Brownie goodness?
The,
What did you
the brown goodness, yeah. Those crispy bits at the bottom of the pot.
They're the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right on.
So you
So
can
about 2
already see
minutes.
them coming loose.
Yeah, and then
about
just to
2
kind of
minutes,
get
just
all
so that
those-
you can, you know, you start to smell the onion and the garlic and just kind of get that aroma going, right?
Flavor integration, I believe, is the technical.
Yeah, that's pretty fancy. After that, we're going to add in our sweet potato. So we've got 1 large sweet potato here that we've cubed. So we're going to put that into the pot as well.
And I just love sweet potatoes just in any kind of stew. It's
Well,
just
it adds
something
just a lot of color and everything
Yeah.
too, right?
Yeah.
And then if you have a little bit of flour left over from dusting,
Okay.
then you would add that in. So you could just sprinkle that kind of in on the top. And what that's going to do, it's going to help you thicken that stew. So it's more stew-like rather than
Soupy.
soup-like. There's not going to be a lot of flour left after you do your dusting of the cubes, but just enough to kind of help that stew thicken up a little bit.
Sure.
And then we're going to deglaze the whole bit with our chicken broth, which we've got 2 cups of that, and then a cup of water. So we're going to add that in.
And that all cooks down a fair bit, I guess, eh? Like,
Yeah, eventually it does. It combines with all of the other juices from the meat and the sweet potato, the moisture that comes out of those. And then that's also going to help you scrape off the brown bits from the bottom. So you would just do that, making sure you can feel it with the spatula once it's kind of come off.
really getting in
and
there.
loosened up.
And then how long does this go for?
This is going to cook for about 30 minutes.
Okay.
Just let me add in the soy sauce.
Oh yeah, you've got like just so many.
I know, and some brown sugar.
Flavor
It's going to add a
profiles.
little bit more of our sweetness.
Sweets, yeah.
And then, of course, we want to put the cubes back in too,
Right.
right? So
Yeah.
I'm going to try
Look at
to
that.
do this carefully. Stand back.
Yes.
This is why I wear the apron.
Yeah.
We want to add all those nice brown cubes back in, and any liquid that might have accumulated on the plate. Put that off to the side. Give that a good stir. And then you would cover it for about 30 minutes, let it simmer, bring it to a boil, then let it simmer for about 30 minutes. And then during the last 15 minutes of cooking, you're gonna add in your peas. So
Up in the peas, should I do that?
Yeah, this is
Okay.
what it looks like after you've cooked for about half an hour.
Look at that.
You've added your peas in, let that cook for about another 15 minutes, and then you've got this delicious
Oh, man.
Jamaican, hearty, comforting, warm stew. Your sweet potatoes are cooked perfectly, your pork is tender.
And if you want to add some super heat to there, to the recipe, you can go for it,
Add
right?
some hot peppers.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything that you find that,
yeah, and season with a bit of salt and pepper according to however you like it, and you've got this amazing stew.
You're done. Beautiful. All right, Jamaican pork stew. When we come back, we got the elevated dish. This is the blueberry soy pork tenderloin. When we come back here on Great Tastes of Manitoba.
You're watching Great Tastes of Manitoba, brought to you in part by GreatTastesMB.ca. Local farms, local foods.